Hi, Michael. Good to have you on the stage. Michael is joining us from North Carolina State University, and he'll be telling us about liquid metal enabled soft electronics and e-textiles. He's going to share his screen, so I'm going to disappear now. You have 20 minutes, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you all. I've enjoyed the other talks today. There was actually a talk yesterday by Chris Tabor on liquid metals, and so this talk will sort of build on that, and I'm going to try to show some different stuff that will complement what the very nice work that he did. So as the title suggests, we're doing this work on liquid metals, and one of our motivations for this is shown by this image here, which shows a human hand touching a robotic hand. And what the information I'm trying to convey here is that current devices like your cell phone or your laptop or in this case, a robotic hand tend to be made out of rigid materials. But in contrast, our bodies are made out of soft materials, and they can do some amazing things: sense, actuate, self-repair, modulate their temperature, and those kinds of things. So in particular, we're trying to make conductors that are soft and stretchable like the human skin. And a number of people have been working on flexible conductors, which in principle is easy. And of course, those people on the call that work in this space know it's not actually easy, but the principle is easy in which you take rigid materials like, say, a piece of wood, and if you make it thin enough, you have cellulose, thin cellulose, which is paper, and aluminum, which is great for a bike frame. But if you make it thin enough, you've got aluminum foil. And so what these have in common is that they're flexible, but they're not soft and they're not stretchable. So in the textile space, people kind of play games with weave, with basically taking advantage of geometry to make materials that are not really inherently stretchable, but making them stretchable due to geometry. But anyway, we're trying to sort of take a different approach, which is just to use materials that are inherently soft and flexible. And so we're focused on conductors. This is a picture of Galleon, which is really the rock star of this presentation. Gallium is really interesting material. It melts at 30 degrees Celsius. So this means if you held it in your hand, it would melt. But we add indium to it, and that depresses the melting point down to below room temperature. This material has considered to have low toxicity. It has no vapor pressure, which means it won't evaporate. Its viscosity is like water, and it's got metallic properties. So its thermal conductivity and its electrical conductivity are like metal. But for us, the most important thing is that the surface of this metal reacts with air and forms an oxide. And that's not surprising. Many metals do this, but it's particularly important here because the oxide is a solid and the metal is a liquid. So to illustrate that, this is some of the liquid metal on a glass slide, and we take a little bit of acid, and the vapor from this Q-tip, acid vapor, is enough to dissolve away that oxide layer. And when you dissolve it, the metal simply beads up due to surface tension. So this is actually so important. I think I might just show it one more time just to drive home the point. So again, the metal's spread out and it's stuck to this glass slide due to the oxide, but then you can dissolve it off. And when you dissolve it off, surface tension takes over and it just beads up. So what do we know about this oxide? This is a picture of it, which shows the metal, which is gallium indium. The oxide, even though you've got indium present, is composed only of gallium oxide, or primarily gallium oxide. And you can see it's very thin. It's only a few nanometers thick, and it's so-called passivating, which means it forms and it doesn't get thicker. So you might be wondering, why am I making such a big deal about this oxide? And if you didn't see Chris's presentation, I'll try to make it clear here with this video. So one of the things it allows you to do is to shape the metal in ways that are not possible with a liquid. So if you suck the metal back into a syringe, which is here, you can see the oxide wrinkle. And this layer forms so fast and is sufficiently strong that you can actually 3D print metals at room temperature, which is really interesting because it means you could print the metals with plastics, textiles, biological materials, all sorts of things that are temperature sensitive. And again, this is all at room temperature. If you were to try to print this structure out of water, you would just end up with a big puddle. So it's really the oxide that does the magic here. And then you can also do a burst of pressure. So here we form a fiber. And the inside of